My name is Debra Dickinson. I travel in my van, known as Fancy Free. I have been a full-time van dweller since 2015, and there aren't many still on the road who have lived in a van as a full-time nomad longer than me. That makes me a dinosaur by Nomad standards. So why on earth would I refer to myself as a dinosaur? Well, beyond the age, it's true that I had my first Nomad video up in 2016. I've been doing this ever since then. And like I just shared, I've been a nomad since 2015. So I've been around a while. In fact, the original community, Bandit wants to say hi. I've got his ball. I can't throw it because if I throw it like I just did, dropped it, he's gonna get the computer, I'm afraid. I mean the camera. So we'll see how this goes. But in 2015, the first winter that I was on the road, the original community was, well, there's not many of us left. And as far as van dwellers, there's even fewer. Some have died, regrettably. Most have gotten off the road. Bryce bought a home. Colvin's in a home. He's with a partner in a home in the Northeast. Just first one thing, then another. And the original tribe that I was with in 2015 of old timers, of those that are left that are van dwellers, is of course Bob Wells. I'm still in Fancy Free. There's people like Brian, Adventure Van Man. He's in a van and he's been in a van for a while. But other than that, everybody is in either RVs or they've gone into homes or they're part-timers. As far as a full-time 365-day-a-year person living in a van, I'm one of the ones that has been out here the longest. So this pandemic, this global pandemic, has been hard on everyone. I know that. And I got my world just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Yesterday was just kind of a double whammy for me, and I had a real hard time. Don't throw it, he'll. We're trying to decide what to do with Bandit because y'all can't see him. Let me see if I can show you Bandit. He is wanting to play with his ball. Bandit, you're not even going to look up at the camera, are you? He is wanting to play with his ball, and that just I can't do that. So I can't multitask, and I'm going to have to ignore him. I'm sorry because I'm getting all thrown off of what I was saying. Hold on, let me think. Okay, so I was sharing with you that yesterday I got some news, and it's a wonderful news for a friend of mine, LaVon. She is getting a tiny home and put it on social media, so I'm not sharing anything out of school. And I'm very, very happy for her. But it just really hit home that with me struggling with what I'm going to do in the future, and with not knowing that I can't keep doing this. Van dwelling is hard, you guys. It is a life of hard knocks. And I always tell you that I think it is more like living in the covered wagon back in the old days than it is in modern days. And this global pandemic and needing a home base and everything has really driven that home for me. And my LaVon is getting a tiny home and getting off the road. Now, just so you know, LaVon is featured, she and Linda May are featured in my book, The Journey Begins. And Linda May is also going to be in a movie coming out called Nomad Land, and I got to be an extra on that movie along with a whole lot of nomads, including LaVon. And LaVon and Linda are featured in my story, in my book. Then All Creatures Sane and Iffy, and they are part of the sane ones, and it starts on page 30 in my book. So if you're interested in that, check that out, because I feature them because they were the first people that I camped with on the road. I was headed from Texas to Arizona to meet up with Bob Wells, and he recommended that I stop along the way and outside of, what's that song? It's an Eagles song. Winslow, Arizona, and camp with them for a night or two while I was en route. And so they were my first nomads to camp on the road with. And so they have a very special place in my heart. Both of them are now off the road. Linda has a place in New Mexico as well, and that's where LaVon will be living near her. So there aren't many of us left, and there's a reason for that. Like I said, there are some out here that are in vans, and I didn't mention my friend Al Christensen, Rolling Steel Tent. He's still out here in a van, and he's been out here as long as me. And like I said, I know there's others that I don't know that have been out here longer than me. But 5 years van dwelling in hard knocks life is a long time. And the truth is, would I be doing that if I had a choice? No. No, and nope. Do I love it? Yes, of course I do. Look at all the places I've been able to go and the experiences I've been able to have and the people that are in my life now because of it. But the truth is that I have to be in a van because of finances. I can't afford anything else right now. I'm working hard to write books and provide content for my patrons, and I'm working hard on my YouTube channel. But for someone that can't do math and I can't do reading comprehension, I have TBI episodes, it's hard to have a job, and I keep hoping to have a job so that I can rebuild, but this is never the way that I imagined it. And now you throw in a global pandemic and it just complicates everything. And I know I hear a lot of people talking about how life is never going to be the same again, and that it affects everyone. I get that. It's not just me. I'm not saying just me. But the conclusion that I've come to and I've been sharing with y'all is I don't know what I'm going to do, but something's going to have to give. And as far as the world changing and things aren't ever going to be the same again, yes, that's true. It was true after the Civil War. It was true during the World Wars, World War I and II. In fact, I want to share with you, this is a little box that I keep. This ruby is from, I don't know, can y'all see that? It's very, that's a huge ruby. And do you see how light it is? The reason it's light is because old rubies were found nearer the top of the ground, and so they're lighter in color. The older, the further down they have to dig to get stones, because the ones up near the top of the ground now are taken, the darker the red. So that was a ruby from my great-grandmother, and it was given to her by a young man that went off to World War II. And he told her when he got back from the war that he would replace it with an engagement ring, but he got killed. And so she married someone else, obviously, and I wouldn't be here if that story hadn't have panned out like that. But this isn't the first global disaster that we faced, and it won't be the last one, and we will get through this. And we each I'm proud of the way everybody is pulling together, but just remember, it may be the first one and the only one in our lifetime, but there's a whole history of them, and that we can call on the grace and the strength and the perseverance from them. So today, I'm going to share with you, that the pandemic has upset everything and got everybody off schedule, including my channel. Last time I shared travels with you, I was stuck on a cattle guard and camping in snow at Big Bend Ranch State Park. And I'm going to catch up with you now and through my travels through South Texas. I went on to Del Rio, for example, and that's where that lovely shot of Fancy Free crossing over that bridge was taken. I went to this rest area that didn't have a sign, but you could see it way up on the hill. And I went up there and it overlooks that beautiful bridge of the Pecos River. And you guys, I was going to set my camera up. No, I did set my camera up, and I was going to leave it because I had been up there for a long time and nobody had driven up there. And I was going to take a chance and run down and drive the bridge back and come back up there and just, I know it wasn't smart and I was taking a chance, but along came this wonderful, beautiful earth angel, and her name is Kat Sweeney, and she does beautiful photography. And Kat, thank you again. And we got to talking, and I asked her if she would watch my camera for me. And this is what I love about being on the road, is you never know who you're going to meet. It turns out that Kat was, she's a nomad at heart, and she was heading out, and she lives with her grandparents, and her grandparents were worried to death for her being out on the road, and she wasn't sure how she was going to reconcile that because she wanted to go camping, and she was headed to go camping and did. And what I was able to do for her is I'm gifting her my old GPS spot messenger. and I have a new one, and it feels so good to be able to pay it forward. And so that shot that you saw in the original intro was thanks to Kat, and y'all be sure and check out her website. After that, I got to stay the night at Drexel Rio Grande picnic area outside of Del Rio, and I'll tell you why I was in Del Rio and Laredo in just a moment. But that picnic area was just a few hundred feet away from the Mexico border, overlooking the Rio Grande River. And I know that a lot of people at that time, now we have other things to worry about, and I love how, you know, it just takes one incident to bring everything into perspective. But I stayed there overnight and got to have a beautiful view and was safe as safe can be. So don't always believe all the hype. And if you are finding yourself in a lot of fear and hearing all bad news, I encourage you to turn your TV off, watch YouTube, binge watch my channel if you want to, and find something good to have input. After that, I went into Del Rio to the Starbucks to upload some videos, and I was sitting there 2 hours. Time just kept ticking by, and it wasn't, the internet wasn't happening. And so, I finally go up to the register and I ask them, what's going on with your internet? And they're like, oh, it's been down for a couple of days. It's citywide. I'm like, okay, should have asked that a couple of hours ago. And so I got in my van, and Bandit and I drove. Y'all can hear him playing in the back. We drove on to Laredo, and I got finished early enough to go to this lovely city park, Moore City Park. And if you're in Laredo, I suggest you check that out. They have a wonderful veterans center. From there, I went on to Falcon Lake State Park, and you guys know the story there. That's where I met Rusty78609. And if you haven't checked that out yet, the link is in the video description, or you can click on the card above and check out my interview with him. And I ended up meeting him because I had to pay for electricity because it was in the 90s there. And you guys, I was so hot. And the thing about me plugging into electricity is it doesn't do me much good, except that I get to run my fans. And actually, it's running my refrigerator and saving energy for my fans from my solar setup, because they still run off of 12 volt. And now I have a battery charger that I'm going to be showing you guys on Bandito, come here, that I'm going to be showing you guys on the next Nomad Quick Tip. So Rusty was wonderful, you guys, and you know that if you follow his channel. The javelinas that came through our camp every day, not so much. They drove Bandit crazy, and this little guy, this nose on this guy, he could smell them, I swear, a mile off. I always knew when they were coming, and I always knew to be careful and to watch out, because they can be mean. And we were always ready, weren't we, Bandit? Huh? Weren't we? Yeah? Good boy. Good boy. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you will help me get more subscribers by sharing on your social media, Bandit and I sure would appreciate it. The other way that you can help Bandit and I is please go to my video description and grab the links to my Amazon affiliate account, for example. If you use that to buy anything and have things delivered during this pandemic to you, it doesn't cost you any extra, and they send me a few cents on the dollar. Also, if you're out traveling and needing places to stay and are considering joining Harvest Host, please grab that link out of my video description, because you get 15% off and I get $15 from them at no cost to you. Thanks, everyone. We'll get through this together. Hang in there, and Bandit and I will see you down the road.